All right, you guys. So today I thought we'd do a really quick video on the Star Wars Mission Fleet line of vehicles. I went out and purchased a couple of the vehicles yesterday, and I thought it'd be very cool to just do a really quick video to see what these things look like. So we're going to go ahead and get a look at all 4 of these vehicles. So let's go ahead and get started with the boxes. So starting with your Vader TIE Advanced, you have your Vader TIE Advance, and I believe this is a illustration of the destruction over the first Death Star with the TIE Advance, which is really cool. And what makes that even more awesome is down here on your Luke Skywalker X-Wing Red 5, you can also see that is depicted over the same destruction of the Death Star there. So that is really awesome stuff there. And I like how the 2 illustrations coincide with each other. And then for your Anakin Skywalker, you have him over the lava pits of Mustafar there with the speeder. So that's really awesome stuff as well. And then last but not least, for your Obi-Wan Kenobi, you have him on his Bark Speeder. Very awesome stuff. All right, and then getting you a look at the side of each one of the boxes, you have pictures of the features for each one of our vehicles. So for your Red 5 X-Wing, you have a blaster gun with shooting projectile that attaches to the front. You have an opening canopy right there where your figure fits in, which is really cool. And then also it comes with an additional stand so you can have the blaster outside of the vehicle. So that is some awesome stuff as well. And then for your Vader TIE Advance, same thing. You have a blaster cannon that attaches to the bottom of the TIE Advance with the opening canopy. And then of course, again, it stands on a tripod that you can use outside of the vehicle. Exactly the same for your Anakin Skywalker Jedi Fighter. Again, it has your blaster feature that attaches to the side wing, opening canopy, and then again an outside attachment with the tripod for the vehicle. And then last but not least, for your Obi-Wan Kenobi speeder, you have the separate vehicle actually. So this actually has 2 different vehicles and then the blaster attachment as well. So really nice stuff and nice illustrations on each side of the boxes for your Mission Fleet vehicles. And then for the back side of your perspective boxes, again, your look at the Vader TIE Advance, the weapons, a look at a couple of the illustrations, of course, the figure that is also included. Really cool stuff there. And then for your X-Wing, very similar. All of the features, your figure, the blaster. And then for Anakin as well, and his Jedi Fighter, your features, blaster, figure. And then last but not least, your Obi-Wan Kenobi speeder, complete with blaster feature, additional vehicle, and action figure and accessories. All right, you guys, so starting with your Obi-Wan Kenobi Bark Speeder, very nice stuff here. You have the sidecar, and we have our Mandalorian standing in here in the sidecar. So cool stuff. Sidecar just came loose, but just so you guys can get a look, since it already came loose, the sidecar has like a little extension that slides into that slot there. So you slide that in there. And then it's attached. But obviously, I guess sliding it around, it could come loose. But there is a look at your vehicle. And then a side profile of the vehicle. And then, of course, the vehicle from the other side with the sidecar. And then the vehicle moving away. And then, of course, as you guys saw earlier, the vehicles do detach from one another, so you can use them as separate vehicles. So that's very cool. Getting you an up-close look at the sidecar. It has a weapon with no projectiles. But very, very nice stuff. Pedals. And the figures fit on there very, very nicely. Very cool stuff. And then getting you a closer look at Obi-Wan speeder. Nice detail on the chip paint, on the stripes, your blaster feature, additional lasers on the tail. So very, very nice stuff. Your firing cannon on your speeder bike for Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then, of course, it does come complete with your Obi-Wan Kenobi and his clone armor. Very, very nice stuff. And his saber as well. Cool little figures. So what's also interesting is that your Obi-Wan Kenobi comes with a little hole in the back. So if you want him to wear the Mandalorian's jetpack, you can do that. So that's pretty cool that they make the accessories interchangeable for all the figures. So that's really, really nice. So with the articulation on your Obi-Wan Kenobi figure, there is no bend at the elbow, but you do get the 360 all the way around. The leg kicks out and goes back. You do get a twist all the way around in the wrist as well. And then, of course, you have your articulation in the head. It twists back and forth. So very cool. And then, of course, there is a bend in the torso, depending on how far you need that bend to go. So there you go with your articulation with your Obi-Wan Kenobi figure. So next up, we have Anakin Skywalker in his Jedi fighter. Really, really awesome vehicle. It comes with your R2-D2, who is obviously attached to the vehicle. It also comes with the blaster. And then, of course, you also get the additional stand that comes complete with the blaster. And then, of course, you also have your Anakin Skywalker figure as well. So let's get a closer look at the Jedi fighter. So getting you guys a closer look at the Jedi fighter, it is really, really cool and very nicely detailed. Given the fact that, you know, this is more or less a small child's toy as opposed to a true collectible. You know, of course, you have the goofy blaster on here, which obviously is inaccurate. But if you remove the blaster, you have a very, very cool and very much or very close to being accurate vehicle, but very, very cool vehicle. You have your Anakin Skywalker, who fits very nicely into the cockpit. The head on the R2-D2 is articulated, so it does spin around and move around, so that's very, very awesome. And then your Jedi fighter with the canopy closed, snaps tight. And very cool, you can clearly see your figure on the inside with the canopy closed. So that's some really, really nice stuff. Very, very nice. So for the fold out wings, there's a little slot where you can kind of dig your finger into. And You pull the wings open. So now you have your Jedi fighter with the wings open, which is really, really cool. And then, of course, once you add the side gun to it, you just have an additional accessory there. So really, really nice stuff. Very, very awesome. Getting you guys a look underneath, there is no landing gear. It just has these tabs that helps it sit up on the shelf. And then, of course, you have your Anakin Skywalker figure, complete with this saber. He is also in his clone armor. So that is very, very nice. Again, he also has the additional hole on the back, which also makes the backpack accessible for your Anakin Skywalker figure as well. So that's really awesome. And then again, you have your saber and the figure. So really, really cool stuff. And then for your tripod with the cannon, so very cool. And your figure sits very, very nicely holding the cannon. So that's some really nice stuff. And then, of course, the articulation for your Anakin Skywalker figure is going to be exactly the same for your as it was for your Obi-Wan figure. So next up, we have Luke's X-Wing, his Red 5 X-Wing. So really, really cool. And to get you guys a closer look, it's very nice. It's a little more cartoony than Anakin's Jedi fighter, but nonetheless, it's very cool. It's very awesome. I mean, what can you expect from this particular line? You know, it's not going to be totally movie accurate. I understand that. Seems like this is just a little more boxy than the Anakin's Jedi fighter, but still cool nonetheless. And your Luke Skywalker figure fits on the inside. There's no controls for him to actually hold on to. He just kind of sits in there. There's not a lot of detail on the inside. And of course you have your closing canopy. And then R2 is in the back, which is really awesome. And of course, just like on Anakin's Jedi fighter, your R2, the head is articulated, but he doesn't come out, obviously. So that's cool. So fairly decent vehicle. I mean, obviously, just as a little memento to Star Wars, this sitting on your shelf is going to look pretty good. And then underneath, so the guns there, as you guys see underneath, are not solid all the way around. So from the underside, that can look a little ugly, especially if you decide to hang these from the roof. But of course, top side, you're looking pretty good. And then of course, there is the cannon that also, again, comes on a tripod. And of course, it does connect to the vehicle as well. As you can see on top of the engines, there are slots where you can fit the gun on the very top. So that's really cool. And even underneath, if you want to have the guns underneath, you can do that as well. And then of course, if you want to have that gun underneath, which actually doesn't look too bad, it actually looks pretty good underneath there. So very cool. So for your Luke Skywalker's gun with projectile, the X-Wing does have articulated landing gear in the front. So you have a front leg for the landing gear that comes in and out and gives your vehicle a stance as so. Your Luke Skywalker pilot comes with 2 weapons. He comes with his side blaster and of course his saber. So that's really awesome. To get you a better look at the figure, it just looks really cool with the yellow shade down, the helmet, the insignia on the helmet. Of course, again, he has the hole in the back if you wish for him to use the backpack that comes with the Mandalorian figure. So the interchangeable parts are really awesome. It makes it worthwhile picking up the other sets. And then lastly, we have Darth Vader's TIE Advance. Very cool, awesome looking vehicle. Let's get you guys a closer look. So getting you guys a closer look at the vehicle. Very nice vehicle. You have a red tint on the window, which makes it very hard to see on the inside. I do have the figure already on the inside, so obviously you cannot see that figure on the inside. But fairly decent ship again. I do like this one. I think it's fairly decent. Probably just as good as Anakin's Jedi fighter. It looks like Anakin and Darth Vader got the best of both worlds. And then you have your cannon there with the projectile that fits on the side. It can also go underneath the vehicle here as well, and then on the other wing. And then there's also a spot for it to fit on the back as well. So really cool. You have your opening canopy. It opens up. But you have your Darth Vader figure on the inside. And we'll pull him out in just a moment. Here's a look at your Darth Vader figure. Now, in order to get him into the cockpit, you have to remove his cape, so that's why you do not see a cape on him, but I will show you what that cape looks like in just a moment. But there he is in all of his glory. Very awesome. Again, he does come with the cape. Just simply take the little tab there, insert it in the hole in the back, and now you have your caped Vader. Very cool, very nice. It is a plastic molded cape. It's a plastic molded cape. So really cool stuff. And then to get you a better look of Darth Vader, specifically the red tinted lenses on his helmet, that's just a really nice little touch there. Very cool. Your Darth Vader also comes with his saber as an additional accessory. So that is really awesome. So with your shooting projectile with Vader, and there is a look at the gun. Really cool stuff. Has a grayish look to it. And of course you have your little shots of green as well on the gun. And then of course Vader grips it very well if you wish to have Vader operating that gun. So that's really cool stuff. Alright guys, so there it is, your Mission Fleet line of vehicles. You have your Darth Vader TIE Advance, your Anakin Skywalker Jedi Fighter, your Luke Skywalker X-Wing Red 5, and then of course you have your Obi-Wan Kenobi Speeder. So very cool stuff. Nice line of figures depending on what your collection needs are. I know these are a little more cartoonish, especially when it comes to the figures and the additional blaster gun, but for the most part there are some very cool advantages to this particular line. If you do collect other Star Wars line of figures, specifically as I mentioned in my previous video, The Mandalorian speeder bike does come with a very cool child and pod, and the child and pod are compatible with your 6-inch Mandalorian. Now, due to the fact that the 6-inch child has some problems grasping the little ball that is one of the accessories that comes with the 6-inch Black Series child, you can substitute this particular child who is holding that same ball to capture this particular pose in any diorama setting. So again, there are some very cool advantages to collecting this particular line if you choose to do so. And of course, they make excellent figures and ships to have on your desk at work or at home. Really nice line of figures. Something that I wasn't planning on collecting, but I am very glad that I did collect because, as I have mentioned, there are some very cool advantages to collecting this particular line. So, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Have you picked up any of the vehicles or any of the figures in the Star Wars Mission Fleet line, guys? Put those comments down below. Please like and subscribe. And of course, guys, from the Father to the Son to the Obi-Wan Force Ghost, may the Force be with you always.